From the outside, it looks like we just show up, play some songs, and have a good time. That is not what's happening. There are so many moving pieces behind the scenes of a wedding gig: band dynamics, technical issues, venue politics, last-minute changes, special dances that we may have never played together before. And as the band leader, I feel all of it. And it's my job to make sure that none of that stress ever reaches the bride and groom. But what most people don't realize is that the most stressful part of the entire wedding, it happens during the first hour. So there's this illusion that we create, it's like we just show up and plug in and say a few things to each other in a huddle, and boom, we're off and we're playing music. We have a great time, drink some drinks, and get paid and go home. The reality is that there's tons of logistics that go on. Even weeks and months before the wedding, there's a lot of emotional intelligence mixed in there. There's technical precision, there's leadership, there's adaptability. A wedding band isn't just playing music, it's live event problem solving. So from the moment we get to the venue, even before just getting to the venue, sometimes it's so stressful. Hours of traffic, accidents on the way, bad weather, that stuff, I've come to gigs already completely stressed out just because of that commute. Then there's the loading in. It can be really easy, as simple as opening the door of the car and loading in right there, or we have in some cases have to go through kitchens, the whole back end of the venue, really tight spaces, taking forever, sometimes 45 minutes to an hour just to get all of our equipment into the stage area. We have to handle, quirky venue coordinators with all kinds of personalities. We gotta work with caterers. Again, they're super stressed out usually, all kinds of personalities there. All kinds of venue rules, like pages and pages of them. Sound restrictions, outdoor power situations. Before a single note is ever played, we've already solved at least 20 problems. And then comes the first hour of every wedding. This is by far the most stressful. And why is it more stressful? It's because so many things have to happen in such a particular order during that first hour. The introductions, the first dance, the speech sequence, the more special dances, maybe a very specific dance set that the bride and groom wanted of 3 to 5 songs. It all has to happen flawlessly. In that first hour, so many things can go wrong, and so many things often really shift in the schedule. So we are getting cues from the wedding planner, from the venue coordinator to start, in some cases, 10 minutes early because the guests are arrived early. And so we have to shift everything. Sometimes we have to completely reprogram all our microphones because when 200 guests come into that room with cell phones, all of that creates new interference, and we have to reprogram all of our equipment. Nothing can go wrong during that first hour. That's where the emotional moments live. The father-daughter dance, the first dance with the special choreography that is timed perfectly with the band. Those are all very high-stress moments for the musicians. And more often than not, the clients will change their choreography, and we have to react in the moment. So we're not just following a plan, we have to be very present in watching every move. Sometimes they want to end the song early, and so we have to find an ending in the moment. So we got to be on our toes. And then there's the whole issue with the catering and the vendor meals. Sometimes they're really great, sometimes they're on point and on time. Most of the time, the vendor meals are delayed, and so we have to play extended sets. Over an hour, hour and a half sometimes before getting our vendor meals. And when we do get our vendor meals, some cases, we have dietary restrictions. I'm gluten-free, and so I get the vendor meal and all I can eat is just a little bit of rice. They mixed it up and they don't have enough, or the portions are too small. That's very often the case. And so we are so hungry because we're up there, it's like a workout class for us. We're burning calories. We need a lot of calories to intake to keep up with the amount that we're burning. So these tiny little portions are hardly enough. Sometimes we're 4 hours into a gig and we're running on rice and adrenaline. Another thing that isn't really talked about is the band dynamics. Now, we've been playing for over 15 years together, and there's a lot going on within the band. We don't rehearse anymore because we've just been playing so long together. So everybody individually preps their part if they have to learn a new song, and then we put it together. So there's a lot of trust in that within each other. Like, hey, you're gonna get your part down and I'll have mine, and it comes together in the moment. And that puts a lot of pressure on everybody. And then we are managing creative differences within the band. You know, there's all kinds of personalities in artists and musicians that we have to manage. Sometimes great, sometimes it creates these little subtle tensions within the band on any given day. We have mood shifts throughout the performance. You know, we have chemistry shifts. Something happens that is awkward and maybe we didn't intend to happen, and it shifts the entire vibe of the band internally. And we got to manage that. A band is a relationship, and just like any other relationship, some days flow easier than others. And then there's a whole audience factor. Sometimes the crowd just goes wild and we really feed off their energy. Sometimes we have people coming up to us, actually all the time, and they request songs or they try to talk to us in the middle of the set while we're playing, and we have to manage that. It creates all kinds of stressful moments, but also some really fun ones as well. It's like we're smiling when we're playing, but we're also mixing and leading and cueing and producing in real time. And the beautiful part of this whole thing of wedding gigs is, you know, sometimes you get really into the state of flow, just playing with your friends. You're just jamming, you're just grooving and playing amazing music. Sometimes the caterer is incredible and we get some of the most unbelievable food we've ever had. Sometimes there's some kind of unbelievable chemistry, like above and beyond within the band. For some whatever reason, it just all comes together and the band is locked in. And that is such a cool feeling. And when the dance floor explodes and the bride and groom are there and they're all glowing and having a great time, those moments are moments that we always remember. So when it clicks, there's just nothing like it. So guys, I'm Claudio, the band leader, bass player, and owner of Mod Society. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more content like this, and check out this video where I talk about how I gave up $25,000 one year. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.